seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time. Radiant team ban. Seconds remaining.
Well, hello everyone, and welcome back to more BTS America's action. Of course, powered by Squarespace. Easy website where you can get in there. You don't even need to know anything about frickin' website coding. They help you out along the way with 24/7 support. And of course, without them, we couldn't show this love and support to the America scene, providing an awesome 10K Dota tournament just for the Americas. And with that said, here we are back into action here. It's Root Gaming, and even though it says meet your makers, it is actually Team Unknown. I actually didn't catch that. I should have forced them to change it, but oh well, it is what it is. It's definitely Team Unknown going against Root Gaming, and it is Root Gaming up one game right now. They win this one, they move on forward into the semis. And, well, if Unknown win this, we go to a Game 3 series. I'm Coddle Guy, representing Beyond the Summit, but I got my good buddy Blaze joining me once again remotely. Blaze, we saw a very interesting game number one. It was Unknown, who felt like up to that 20-minute mark, were just up and ahead. But then eventually Root Gaming, cool, calm, collect, found their window of opportunity, and they literally bull rushed forward and just took the game right over.
Absolutely. It was just a handful of pickoffs and early skirmishes that were enabling them to really take the late game. And, I mean, in general, I think they were pretty confident as the game stretched longer and longer, as they withstood each Roshan cycle and just managed about the pit effectively. But, yeah, just in general, I really like how Root were able to move about the map, make sure the Bounty Hunter didn't get too much early on, and then from there, of course, just deal with the death ball aggression that came out from the side of Unknown. But now first pick will be coming out for, I want to say MyM, they're back, baby. But no, Queen of Pain, first pick for Unknown, so should have a better landing experience in general. I mean, the TA versus Leshrac isn't bad, but Queen of Pain is just pretty much a given matchup no matter what. In the worst case, you're blinking defensively, but generally speaking, you get to kind of use your aggression, maybe 2 points of Shadow Strike, and bring a lot of pain to your opponent.
Oh. Blaze, there is a little bit of lag there at the back end of that, so I wasn't even sure if you finished. If you want to do a reset or anything necessary, let me know. But just a minor little hiccup there at the end. But I certainly agree with you. Now it's MyM, a.k.a. Team Unknown, leading off. They're going to take advantage of getting a hold of that Queen of Pain. Also, for additional clarification for everyone watching, YK, I believe was the name from last game, is indeed Mr. Kotaro Hayama, who is now present with his name. I guess under Meet Your Makers he actually goes into proper uniform, but there he is nonetheless, the infamous Huskar picker. We'll see if he gets a hold of it, but Huskar's distant polar cousin, the Tuskar, is going to be the first grab priority here for Root Gaming. Now, I'm going to make a very terrible early assumption that maybe, just maybe, Root Gaming will do what some other teams have been doing, pulling out of that back pocket, the techie strat. Tusk techie strat. Fluff did call it out himself. When we were watching the matchup of Leviathan going against Complexity, you could tell Leviathan wanted it so bad, but Complexity were one step ahead and banned it out, and they had to resort to different measures. We'll see if Root Gaming try to do something as cheeky here or not.
Nah, I think that maybe you could force the opponent to abandon out phase 2 respectfully, but I don't actually think that you want to run that, because up against the Queen of Pain, all you have to do is just safe lane solo that hero, and she can blink away from Snowball every time. So you actually have no way of closing distance on that hero in particular. There's a couple of heroes that are really good at dealing with that combo. My personal favorite is Darkseer in like ranked pubs. When I see that combo, I just grab that hero that has naturally high armor and HP and say, come at me, essentially. But yeah, there's a lot of ways of mitigating that, and if you don't get a couple of kills early, I think that it kind of falls flat. So they're just going to kind of play this more well-rounded lineup with the Tusk, and Moo is pretty comfortable on this hero. He's played a lot of Tusk recently. He's a pretty dynamic player. I mean, he's played a lot of heroes, a lot of roles, but most recently he's been running off lane for the team, and the Tusk fits in well with his playstyle. We saw some great spend from him, but now I think he can be even more involved on Ymir.
Yeah, Shadow Fiend, that top TC grab, and they have the luxury of being on the Radiant side. You put them together with a good support, ideally someone like the Earthshaker, which does get snagged up from Team Unknown, but they could just as easily fall back on maybe their own Dazzle grab. Not Winter Wyvern, though, of course, banned out once more. Also, the Bloodseeker is something that has not popped up yet in this series, and we'll see if it's a primary grab. And there it is, the infamous Huskar second phase ban against Team Unknown. Kotaro Hayama, sorry, no comfort hero for you. I also made an early prediction. This is something they did run in their TI5 qualifier run when they were not getting access to Huskar pretty much every game. Eventually, Kotaro was like, I'm just going to grab the next most manly hero. And he picked up an Ursa at one point and really went crazy. I wouldn't mind seeing that. And, well, right on cue, we see the Bloodseeker is actually going to be banned out this time. A lot of manly heroes being taken off the board here for Team Unknown. But now we look to Root Gaming here. And what I imagine probably being a support grab up here. As I already said, Dazzle is there, and Dazzle is picked.
Yeah, pretty much the best hero you can grab in this situation, because you have the ability to go for snowball plays. You put a couple guys in the snowball, and that means guys that are doing damage with Shadow Wave as well if the Dazzle's involved. So Tusk and Dazzle are a pretty good combo. They also keep people alive for a lot longer, with 4 seconds on snowball, 5 seconds on grave. A lot of ways to kind of respond to tough situations. And then, of course, you've got the negative armor stack for the Shadow Fiend and the Dazzle with the Weave and Presence of the Dark Lord. So, in general, I think this is going to be a great combo. And right now, at least before Queen of Pain hits level 6, she's going to be doing more damage over time than anything. Second Scream or longer ticks of the Shadow Strike is what's going to be putting people into fatal range, which gives Dazzle plenty of time to, again, make those reactive TPs. So I think this is going to be a really good pickup and allows them to be very involved, but I'm curious what they follow it up with. Did they go for the Shadow Demon again? Shadow Demon Dazzle, very good with the Disruption Nuke combo, or do they look for a different alternative that puts out a little bit more damage directly?
And they can go more crazy with the Aura Strat. If it was, a couple months ago, I say Vengeful Spirit could be a good grab for them, but I don't know. You also have good standard support grabs and something, like your Lion, let's say, that are out there. So a lot of fruitful options we'll see. Tiny being picked up here for Team Unknown. Hard to say if this is going to be what I like to call the a la carte Tiny, where he runs without the Wisp, and he goes more heavy mobile himself with your drums, your blink, and just looking to kind of go off the wall there, or if they will look to creep in a Wisp pick for themselves. We'll have to see, but I gotta say, one thing I do like that they've been setting up here now between the Earthshaker and the Tiny, a good, obviously, serious amount of stun, AoE stun, so that when Tusk does ball forward, and let's say he commits a whole team onto someone, like maybe a little Queen of Pain, Earthshaker and Tiny come out from the dark, and they just got the dream set up, with the whole team kind of just congested and clustered. Because of that snowball, they're just going to go on an absolute tear with probably one of the craziest echoes and Tiny combos you'll ever see. So that dream could still be there, but Blaze, opinions on the Tiny grab here in the mid-phase?
I think they're going to follow it up with the Wisp, and I think it's going to be very palpable, because what you can actually do is forgo an Earthshaker, a Blink Dagger, and you could just toss the Earthshaker in if he has a good Echo Slam opportunity. So Tiny Toss Echo Slam is real, and it allows the Wisp to actually go for a 4 position. There's... the snap grab! Oh, they knew that they were going to take it. They absolutely knew that Team Unknown were going to be taking Wisp at this point in the draft, hands down, and they snap it up for themselves. Hey, we can make it work. The other way they can do it is actually rotate the Shadow Fiend to the safe lane, so he's not going to be having to go up against the Tiny Wisp, and then they put somebody tankier in the mid. I've seen Beastmaster work really well, but in this case, they're like, no, we just won't give you that laning phase configuration at all. We'll go for the Dazzle IO, which is something we've seen Secret run quite effectively. The heal, obviously, more effective with the Tether. It'll kind of apply that Shadow Wave 2.5 times over if the IO is both injured and tethered to somebody receiving Shadow Wave. And yeah, it is a very powerful combo. So I think that they're going to be able to make it work very well. It's not like one of those times where you pick up a hero by itself and it's just absolutely useless to your draft and it's only a denial pick. I think it's a little bit of both. It's a denial pick, but it has some value here for Root Gaming.
Yeah, Fluff definitely very familiar with the hero. I have seen Fluff do solo Wisp overthrows, the custom game overthrow, and win. I mean, he knows how to play the hero regardless of what position, so I love the snag. I love the combo breaker, taking that away from Unknown. Unknown just instead filled that spot with a Lion for now. I could have wagered maybe a Witch Doctor could have still been a decent grab. Works very well. The Coconut being able to bounce between the Wisp and whatever preferred target, but Lion, you do get that bit of burst that might be able to make the difference between someone getting saved with a Shallow Grave and being finished off. So I can respect the extra bit of disable and burst potential there. And you know what, for Root Gaming, still looking like they need to get the Monkeys Forever grab. A Gyrocopter's still out there, and Gyrocopter certainly likes working with Wisp. I feel like there's a lot of good candidates out there to really make this Wisp just naturally fit in wonderfully with this Root lineup so far.
As many heroes as there are that work really well with Wisp, I think Root Gaming have in mind a hero that can actually provide some disable. Because Earthshaker and Queen of Pain, even Tiny and Lion, are heroes that you want to silence when they go in for the play. When they go in for a jump in for some big damage, some big spells, you want to be able to stun them or silence them so they don't get that off. Right now, the only hard disable coming out from Root Gaming is the Tusk Snowball, as well as later on the Walrus Punch. And those just aren't reliable enough coming out from only one hero. So the core has to make up for that. And we'll see a core hero that both does something with the Wisp, but more importantly, has a reactive spell to shut down the aggression of Team Unknown.
Now we move past the last banning phase of ban out from the Bristleback here from Team Unknown. The response from Root, getting rid of that Brood, and they're going to go with a Jug here. So they're not going to go either of us. No Gyro, no Disable here. Just going with the clean-cut Juggernaut here. Offers great farming capability, additional heal already on top of the ridiculous amount they've got between the Dazzle and the Wisp. You got to remember that, just as you pointed out, with all the additional heal powers, you get a ward out there as well, and Wisp is going to have an easy time, regenning and saving out anyone he's connected to. Benefits a lot from the attack speed Wisp does provide. And yeah, I mean, overall solid grab here. Something Monkeys Forever has been very familiar with. It's just been a bit of a falter time for Juggernaut ever since the changes have been made. Specific ones in particular, like the Mask of Madness not providing the move speed anymore. I know his Omni/range was nerfed down just a little bit, but we still see him come up from time to time. And look at this for Team Unknown. They're going to round out their draft. Their off-lane pickup, it looks like here, going to be the pointy-headed one, the Darkseer here, Blaze.
Yep, so obviously this will disrupt a melee farmer a little bit. The Iron Shell going to put some better damage into the Juggernaut, so essentially it's going to be harder for him to get early CS, guarantee his first set of items. But overall, with the Healing Ward, with maybe a Shadow Wave or two, I think he'll be okay, and he shouldn't have too many difficulties. And the really cool thing about the Juggernaut is he has his own personal anti-spell bubble. Like, obviously, I was talking about the Silence or Hard Lockdown against these heroes that make the jump. Well, Juggernaut just spins and at least prevents the stuns from hitting on himself. So the spin is going to be a very valuable cooldown to reserve, and I would say most of Team Unknown's stuns are pretty projected. The Lion Hex is the only purely instant one, and the Echo Slam is pretty quick too. So in general, Juggernaut's just going to have to be one step ahead of his opponents and be able to kind of make that counter initiation. If he can get the spin off, he's going to be in a good position for the fights, and then after that, you've got the Wisp's help with the tether to heal him up. And the Healing Ward is another one of those spells that scales so well with that tether, so I think that Fluff and Stuff is going to be taking some significant advantage of that.
And here we go. We lead in with an early pause coming out from the Team Unknown squad. Once again, folks, it's not MYM. It's my bad. I've had to take all the hats today, not just your producer, your streamer, your caster, and talent wrangler, but I also had to be the host and admin here, and I fortunately didn't catch the tag name there. I would have definitely slapped them on the wrist and told them to change it up, but I assure you, based on roster, this is definitely still Team Unknown going against Root Gaming. Match number 2, Root Gaming already up 1 win here. And without further ado, let's go ahead and lead out our introductions here. Now we'll take the reins. Radiant side, we got Root Gaming. One more win secures them a spot in the semifinals for BTS Americas. We got Moo, who's going to be playing your Pirate Tusk just behind. We got Mr. Fluff and Stuff. He's going to be playing your Wisp. Along the bottom, we got Monkeys Forever, who's going to be playing your Jug. We also got Fun, who's going to be playing your Dazzle. It's certainly last but not least, we got the Tauren Chieftain himself, TC. Do not underestimate this man, or he will send you into a burning abyss. He is playing your Shadow Fiend in the mid lane.
Alrighty, and we're going to be looking over the side of Team Unknown. We've got Z-Talk running on the Earthshaker support. He is going to be, right now at least, the 5 position, and that'll allow the Lion to pick up the boots. The Lion is going to be played by Axel. We've got Takane on the Queen of Pain, Null Tally Stark. Kotaro Hayama of the TA from last game is now playing the Tiny, and going to be looking to probably build up towards the early Aghanim Scepter. Sometimes you see a Drumblink build, but I think he still needs to focus on farming and pushing, so that's going to be the tool for his disposal in general. Beyond that, we're going to be looking at the bounty rune for the Wisp, which enables him to get the early bottle, and of course for the Queen of Pain to get her that extra little bit of regen to start things off. Isho is going to be rushing up the Soul Ring on the offlane Darkseer, so he's going to be able to spam out that Iron Shell that much more actively. And I think that pretty much covers everybody on the side of Team Unknown. Yeah,
like what I see from a lot of teams that tend to be going against this Darkseer in the off lane, they typically know he leads in with that level 1 Iron
look at that
Shell.
Fissure.
And, what's happening here? Mid lane, Z-Talk catches out a Fissure on the TC. Takane wants to move in, but they have Fluff nearby, ready to help out. So this is not really going too far. They end up getting each their own ward down, and Fluff's got a sentry waiting, and he's going to get a free 50 gold here. Z-Talk moves in like, I want to deny it! Aha!
Oh.
My 50 gold, and walks away. What a nice little play right there from Z-Talk, as he's able to just muscle down his own ward. But still, nonetheless, he will lose that ward. He will lose that vision. Anticipating they're going to be making up those stacks. And look at this. I mean, the supports are trading. They have their own mid lane in parallel blaze to the mid lane here.
Absolutely. Who needs creeps? You've got the heroes ready to fight it out. The problem is Wisp is probably one of the worst range heroes to duel in this situation because he doesn't have to turn. Wisp always is facing you and facing away from you at the same time, and that means he can kite you perfectly, falling back and attacking at the same time, and that enables him to always keep distance against a hero that otherwise would have a superior movement speed. So Z-Talk just has to go back to the safe lane, looks for another Fissure block, but we'll see if they can actually make it work here. Hex after the Earth Spike, now the Fish comes through, and Avalanche will nearly set up a kill. Nice snowball, but in the end the toss should knock him down. One more hit. All the neutrals!
Oh, not happening. Lion manages to creep in that last attack. Man, Moo really makes him sweat for it there. And it almost looks like that profitable kill is going to be taken away, but they do manage to grab him, and your Tusk gets taken out. Good early
in the meantime, the
boost
Fun not having fun on the bottom lane. He gets chased down by the Iron Shell Darkseer. That Surge does plenty of work, and yeah, Isho gets himself a freebie. Now going to be able to finish up the Soul Ring, and more Iron Shells to come.
Looks like he committed for the early heal here. I'm not sure if maybe it was just the extra harassment coming out from the Iron Shell and he wanted to have that sustained.
He was all the way over here trying to zone out the Darkseer and just try to kind of manhandle him in this lane. Dazzle has a little bit more range than he used to, but in the end he can't really deal with that Surge movement speed.
Oh, very nice. They scattered a regen bottom. A beautiful rune for your Wisp. As he's able to bottle it up, he'll take it right back to the mid lane and help out TC here, who's already pretty damn low on life, has no regen at all, so he'll need the assistance. Z-Talk is back in his usual position just up to the northern part of this mid lane, scouting it out. He's got the mana here for a new Fissure, but a lot of attention from both teams to make sure this mid lane goes as smooth as possible. When you check the CS footage or on the paper, 35-13. Oh my God, Blaze, I'm drunk apparently. 13-5. Queen of Pain CS. Shadow Fiend 10-3 now. 11-3. Seems to be split down the middle at this point. Of course, both sides kind of splitting the XP a little bit. Maybe less so for the side of the Queen of Pain, who's already at level 4.5. TC just trying to get to level 4. But it's a Shadow Fiend after all, Blaze, and with a couple of stacks on the side, he can play catch up very easy.
Absolutely. So now in this position, I want to call out the Tusk's experience per minute right now. The Darkseer, him getting that kill and being in range for all those creeps, he's found himself at second place in experience per minute in the offlane. So he's at 350. This Tusk, Moo, unfortunately, is only at 150. Just now hitting level 3. So having a hard time up here. Axel doing a really good job of zoning him, and of course he did end up going down as well to the Lions. So it's really frustrating for him here. Finally he gets a creep wave heading his way, but even then it's just kind of barely making up for what he's lost so far.
Yeah, he continues to just try to sneak in. Fortunately for him, the creep wave is in a good spot, so yeah, he can just get that early XP. On the other side, so Kotaro is just kind of his free will to get the easy last hits. Tiny's really no problem with that ridiculous early base damage. He could just go ahead and soak in the early farm. I know you made the call out that you should push for the early ags, as we are seeing a Fissure harassment in this mid lane. But I don't know. I mean, mobility, I feel like, is just a crucial tool in this as well. Especially when we see trouble coming possibly in the form of a snowball or relocate. maybe you kind of need that extra bit of move speed to get away. But we'll have to see what is the preference here for Mr. Kotaro at the front right now, just holding the 900 gold. But he's got a good side farm here to work with the creep pull, making life even more miserable for Moo. Moo has to do the long walker chain back. Bottom lane, ooh, monkeys forever. Pretty damn low here, eating a lot of ion shell damage, and boom, gets cleaned up. Takane just waltzes on in there, gets off, and is in trouble herself. Tries to double back. He gets a haste rune, is able to kind of move in a good spot. Fun. Last second shallow grave. And he gets the kill on the Queen of Pain. Are you kidding me, Fun? He will pay with his own life, but man, he's happy about that minor trade. Queen of Pain really caught off guard there with the burst of damage that did come through from that heal. But it is still Team Unknown off to a good start now, 4-1.
Yeah, no, I was actually really impressed with Fun enabling himself to get a kill. That shouldn't happen there, and yeah, that is actually going to be, it's not worth it, obviously, to lose to Juggernaut, but at least isn't completely without an exchange, and Isho's going to go back to doing his thing with the Ion Shell here. But yeah, with the Tiny, I mean, I do see him going for that a heavy pool of gold, so probably does look towards that Blink Dagger here, but I think he really needs to get kills out of it quickly if he's going to actually save up for that item, because the big thing about Tiny right now is I feel like he needs to farm up a bunch of items. Because he doesn't have the Wisp overcharge, he really needs to farm quickly and build up his attack speed as well as his mobility. So, of course, he's still going to get Blink this game, absolutely. I just think if he can, probably go Ags before Blink, but in this case it looks like he's either going Midas or Blink outright.
Looks like Team Unknown will be able to grab up both runes here. It's guarded up top. It looks like maybe Moo wants to sneak in. No, they're going to hand over to the Queen of Pain. Meanwhile, bottom lane, Ishino was able to sneak in before Fluff shows up with TC, and he grabs up the regen for himself. Very nice grab. In fact, Darkseer has his own bottle. He just puts it right in there. And look at this. He has a nice little cute side double stack even to farm up. Man, Ishino is putting in the work with his Darkseer, man. He's almost level 8 at 6.5 minutes in. But here we go. Big breakout blaze. They're moving in for Z-Talk. They get the connection from Fluff's last little right click. Move very weak. Gonna go down to the screen right there. Takane waltzes out, goes back to the mid lane. Whoa! Turn back. Sonic Wave is going to annihilate Fluff. The Wisp Ball pops, and it's going to be a 2-for-1 trade now, advantage for Team Unknown.
Yeah, I mean, Moo just tried to do the best he could. He was caught out by a pretty good Fisher coming in from Z-Talk, so he delays it, gets the allies to come in, but in the end, TC is not able to do enough damage to the Wisp. It does pay a pretty hefty penalty. The cool thing, though, is they can go for this bottle sip play as soon as Fluff and stuff comes back alive, and suddenly they're fully sustained back on this mid lane.
Beautiful fountain, delayed fountain regen there.
Bottom. A lot of damage coming into Monkeys Forever. It looks like Isha's going to be able to push the tower really heavily off this. All he has to do is creep cut past the wave, and while Monkeys Forever is worried about like healing ward, bringing himself back up, Isha gets 2 free waves of creeps and does some really good direct damage to the tower.
We'll see if he goes right for a mech this game or not. For now, just holding his soul ring, and look at that. Looks like Kotaro is going to go straight for the blink, and they might have spotted Monkeys Forever. He tries to farm in a safe spot to the north side of that camp, but now is Z-Talk. He's been pump faking this fissure out, does get the connection, the vacuum back, and they're going to run and chop him down if possible, but not going to get it. He needs 2 more seconds for the surge. Are they going to pop it and run? There's certainly no mana. Queen of Pain, interception right there from Takane, just easily jumps in, gets the scream off, and lo and behold, another convenient double stack. Ishino happy to see this. They just quickly farm it up. That is rough. That was TC's closet of gold that they just broke into and took away, and they're going to see this next stack as well. And I have a feeling they're not going to let TC do it easily. Or maybe they feel that they've just gone
the West they can't really contest because of the low man on the Earthshaker, but the Central one they certainly can. So while he's busy farming on the Western side, they'll take advantage of this Central stack, and that still takes a lot away from TC. He would be actually like neck and neck with the Queen of Pain if he got all the stacks in the jungle. Instead, he's trailing quite significantly.
TC bobs back to his lane. Not nearly in as comfortable spot as he would like to be. But speaking of comfortable spots here, look at Kotaro. He's got that blink. He's like, I'm ready to play. Steps away from his top lane for the first time this game. Puts eyes on the bottom, waiting to see if there's going to be anyone showing up the lane of Monkeys Forever or not. Who's been currently juggling with his own problems here. Z-Talk continues to be a bit of a nuisance, along with Ishino, who is going for that mech blaze. He already has 2 components complete. He is pretty dang close to getting it outright done. And Wool, meanwhile, you're going to see your Lion. He gets his solo time. In fact, he's already level 6. He already has the finger. He can grab himself a smoke, and Team Unknown could continue to go on the prowl and pick up even more if they want.
Damn. I think one big thing about Team Unknown's positioning across the map is that they've actually given their support some time to farm. Maybe not in terms of like last hits. Excel only has 500 gold here, but he's been able to get some good solo experience, and he's been getting a lot out of the jungle too. So Lion's already up to level 6, as you mentioned. Earthshaker's halfway there. So I would have to say that they've been doing a really good job. While you look at the Wisp, he's the one who's getting more, and yeah, he really needs this relocate as quickly as possible. Z-Talk actually going to get caught out here, but doesn't get slowed by the tether. So he can kind of position himself carefully, and Kataro really wants that jump, but he's going to actually blink away here as the snowball comes in, gets still caught out by the ice shards, but it's a 1v1.
Wanted to smack him and keep that blink on cooldown, but he gets tossed right to the Queen of Pain. Set me up, I'll put it down. An easy spike right there. And with that, Moo is going to get dropped. A difficult game for him, and Team Unknown continue to really thrive. Z-Talk, man, still in their face. Ooh, gets hit from his raise. He doesn't like that. Dishes out the fissure and will make his swift retreat here. Or will he? Gonna get the move speed now from Fluff with this tether. Can he get close enough for maybe a raise snipe? Quickly Takane jumps in, gets off. Oh, not enough. That raise connects, but it is just not enough damage. Z-Talk will live. He bottles up, gets the shared bottle actually there from Takane.
Oh.
And not going to connect with his own fissure on the other side. So very back and forth from both teams, looking to trade. Feel like Root Gaming just struggling a bit more trying to connect some of these kills here. But they are starting to get these level 6s online. Moo's got his now, and his Walrus Punch is ready to go. Dazzle's got his own. He's been continuing to work up the stacks. Didn't invest in the weave quite yet. And for Monkeys, well, a bit difficult here. Does finish off his phase boots, but now the pressure's coming towards his tier 2 tower.
I think the Grave build is actually pretty smart here because there's so many quick picks coming out, and like even for example that Tusk that got tossed with the Queen of Pain, like he was desperate to get a Grave there, and there's no way that he can even do it in the traditional sense without some more points in Grave. So I think it's a pretty good build. Monkey's Forever did end up getting a deny in the tier 1, but more so because Isho didn't even try for it. He just went for the next creep wave, and he knew the tower was deniable, but he just kept on doing his own thing. So maybe he was okay as long as he got some gold. He would still gain momentum. We're gonna see Iron Shell. Oh, another nice snipe for Kotaro Hayama here from the hard camp. Actually probably waiting for the SF to farm it up and then wants to jump him. But if they take the heroes or if they take the neutrals, in either case they're happy.
And if they wanted to wait for the timing, could see someone else double stacking it. But no, it's a quick jump in like that. Kotaro gets the connection on the Monkeys Forever, makes it an easy kill. The Iron Shell certainly helps a little bit of extra damage. And now they put their attention onto the tier 2. Feeling a bit reminiscent from the last game, Blaze. A strong start here for Team Unknown. We look to Root Gaming if they can still kind of stay composed in this one and look to bring it back. But I don't know if they have as much tools as they did last time. Look at Unknown. They're jumping across the mountains here. They get quick TC, toss up, shot down from the Lion with the finger. And your Shadow Fiend got to be hitting the deck. Nothing they could do to save him. Just happens so fast. This team has so much burst potential that I don't think a relocate could even come out in time, nor a Shallow Grave.
Yeah, it's just really good gank potential. Now we see the Fisher to start things off. They want to follow up with the Queen of Pain, but she's got to go in the trees to really do this reliably. Instead of Snowball onto the line, the Walrus Punch throws him up, and the Earth Spike will not connect onto Monkeys Forever. Quick spin from him. So we're going to see Queen of Pain just blink on out, and everybody else probably going in retreat. They want to kind of reset their mana pools because really Isho and Z-Talk are completely lacking.
Well, they're still creeping in. Z-Talk doesn't have the mana for a fissure, but Kotaro jumps in, takes Fluff like a little basketball and just throws him up and down and gets the easy kill there. And now a buyback. Fluff looking to engage. They get the Walrus Punch onto Z-Talk here. Z-Talk goes for an Echo, only onto one, and the quick raid's going to save him. It's just his last dying breath on that front. Now it's Root on the charge. They're going to take it right back. They move for Ishno. Ishno going to eat up the Omni Slash. Gets tossed and connected again. A double kill now for Kotaro. Continuing to clean up. He is the trash man in this game, and TC is forced to stay back. Fluff moves in. Fluff better be careful. 5 seconds. There'll be another combo ready to go. Now he is connecting with the Spirits, so he won't be able to blink, but they're already going for TC who gets hexed up. Now it's Fluff caught in his own, and it looks like Fluff who will be going down here with a few right clicks. Kotaro already making the move for TC. Gets the stun. No toss yet. Could toss back in 3 seconds.
He's trying to, but the range...
Not close enough. Does throw it right up and down here. Takane will be able to blink in. Shadow Strike. I think TC is in trouble. Really know where he can go. Needs teleport in about 10 seconds, but those death timers pretty dang low this early into the game. They're able to rotate in as backup, and Team Unknown don't want to be going too far, too deep, too quick. And they decide to pull back.
Yeah, it almost looked like a pretty big mistake for Qatar to go for that insta-give on the Wisp. Sure, you get the kill out of that, but then you get caught in a really dicey position against the Tusk. The Ice Shards, the Snowball, they're really good tools for pursuit, and in most situations, that would just be you losing 2 or 3 heroes. But the Queen of Pain was freshly hitting level 11, just got her ulti back up, and was ready to let it fly. So they coordinated that so they could bait them into a choke point and get that double sonic wave that turned it right back around. So really good usage of their spells here, and Team Unknown are really taking a well-deserved lead. I mean, they're going to have an Orchid very soon on the Queen of Pain. It's actually on the Courier right now, and from there, the Dazzle is going to have some real trouble.
They found TC. Kotaro moves in with a stun. They got the vacuum. He's holding the toss for now. They don't even need it. They get the kill. Ishno now a killing spree for your Dark Seer. It's been one hell of a game for him so far. And for Team Unknown overall, now 16-6. And then after last game, it's not feeling like Team Unknown would be able to pull this kind of stuff out, but they are looking pretty damn strong at this point. We look to Root. Now, Blaze, what is the recovery path for them if they want to get back into this one? Maybe building up some stacks, getting TC farmed up and ahead, but it feels like they've just been crippled down quite a bit.
I would say what stacks are safe? What stacks can you consider your own? This jungle, I wouldn't even call it the Radiance anymore. It is very infested by the Dire, and they're able to just do so much work. They might even still go for a jump here. If they get the right target silenced, they can still kind of take down the target quickly. But since the Tiny Wisp, or sorry, the Tiny Lion are very happy with taking the Tier 1 top, they're just going to pull back for the moment and keep their distance. But as it stands, a path to recovery for Root seems very far away, because the Juggernaut wants to farm jungle with Mask of Madness. The SF wants to farm it with Razes. They look to get a kill on the Darkseer, but he's got the Surge. The body block is actually what's going to lock him in place, but the wall, the vacuum, and the fish are doing lots of damage, and it's going to be actually Dazzle heal to turn it back around.
Man, it took him way too long to take that Darkseer down. He gets off a big wall with big damage. Does allow Takane to get a bit of a cleanup there. And what was Root hoping to move in and take advantage of the numbers they had, because you got to remember the commitment from Tiny and Line to that top lane. They thought that they were going to take this fight easy. It is just too much work, and man, I guess Z-Talk is filling it. I don't know what that means, but he's putting out the battle cry now. That this is going to be a difficult one for Root. They move on to Moo. Nice toss back comes out from Kotaro, and it just sets up again another assist. And Moo gets trickled down here. Shadowblade, but will be able to bottle up. Not even the Orchid Burn going to be enough. He is in good standing here just from the bottle charges. And Takane quickly pulls back, but that Darkseer certainly took a lot more than Root were anticipating there, man. He was able, even with all the body blocks, even with the good Walrus Punch connection right after he tried to surge away, just was not enough. They do eventually get him down, but they pay the ultimate price.
We're actually going to see a nice combo there on the Lion onto the Dazzle, but it's not enough to bring him down, even though he doesn't have a single point of strength, keeping him more survivable. Still, it's just going to be slightly off the mark and getting the kill, and he'll be healed up pretty quickly. I think what Z-Talk said there was something along the lines of it's a bloodbath, it's a red battle, something along those lines, but we're actually going to see the Queen of Pain caught out here, and it looks like he's disabled enough. The Blink brings him away with 80 HP. They can't get the last hit in, and he's going to walk out, now baiting them in to a beautiful AoE combo. TC won't even get the Requiem off, and they'll be wiped out by 3.
This is heartbreaking for Root. Every time they look to move in, Unknown just one step ahead, and look at this, even Kotaro's like, that's my free gold right there. Just hops up at the end. He'll see even the double stack here if they decide to farm it on the way back. But that is very difficult. You could feel that maybe Fluff was going to go for a relocate even just to catch that Queen of Pain, but a quick jump in from the rest of Team Unknown do not allow it. And they have just been on par. They've been controlling the Root jungle side. They keep putting down these aggressive wards, taking the vision back, taking the control back, and just having their own buddy-buddy system so that when something breaks out, they're ready to play. They try to make a go on a Monkey's Farm in the top lane. The combo not enough to bring him down this time. He will survive, gets the aid from Fluff, and will decide to pull back here.
Yeah. Very interesting build coming out from Kotaro, by the way. It looks like he will be able to get the Blink away, and you'll see the value of it here, just getting distance, actually. He has to get past the Ice Shards here to really show its value, but essentially it is a Blink Force build, allowing him to have a higher mana pool for more spell spam, better range of initiation engagement, and more importantly, the ability to get in and out of the fights. We're just going to see the relocate and TP down bottom, and it looks like it's going to be the Dire in full retreat.
Yes, and it was just as they were getting ready to converge on the top that they relocate away. Now Z-Talk walks back in, busts out an Echo Slam, not the biggest one ever. Does moderate damage. Monkeys charges right through the wall, but Kotaro cleaning up the back end side, quickly grabs Fluff, takes him apart. Z-Talk very low, outrunning TC at this point. On the other side of the battle, Monkeys barely able to get him away. TC catches up with Z-Talk, will be able to finish him off. Moo looking to possibly re-engage, doesn't have the most mana to make it work, but when the dust does settle, ends up being a 2-for-1 trade. It costs Root both their supports just to get the one support Z-Talk on Team Unknown side.
Yeah, the Juggernaut illusion was actually critting Monkeys Forever. He was critting himself, and that's 75% damage. I mean, that's no joke. He barely could duel his own illusion. At this point, they are really struggling to try to get themselves back in the game. They are going to have the mech on TC, but at this point, I would say he needs a BKB. Like, he needs it pronto, because the Grave is not going to be there thanks to the Silence. So without being able to rely on those defensive reactionary tools, TC needs his Black King bar pretty much yesterday. Like, he just needs every bit of farm that he can scrape together, because there's no way that he's going to get a good fight without a Black King bar.
Yeah, it's very tricky, but as we pointed out before, where is it safe for Root to farm right now? Finding those spots is almost like finding the Holy Grail at this point. It's a continuation of being able to just kind of create that safety zone for yourself, and only working with these closest neutral camps is just not going to be enough. You will be starved out eventually as Team Unknown continue to farm the majority of this map. Looking over the inventories here, latest pickups, additional mobility from Mr. Kotaro, even going into the 4-step at this point.
Yeah.
Now we'll start building up into that Agnum Scepter, getting that cleave, that extra whomping damage that we'd like to see. Ishino now working in the pit hand-in-hand with Kotaro. He's got his mech. Team Blink Dagger coming together here. Already 3 Blinks complete all day for Team Unknown squad, so mobility is certainly something they love to be able to utilize, as the Little Lion's got one himself. And even Little Z-God, he's trying. He's late to the Blink party, but he's working on it, Blaze. He's got about 1,800 gold.
Yeah, he'll get there. And, yeah, like I was saying before about the Tiny Force Staff, essentially it's just a tool so that he can get in and out of the fights more actively, and especially against that snowball. Like, they can essentially make it so that whenever they see a target being snowballed, they can split up a little bit, figure out which target that it's focusing on, and then get that person to safety with the Force Staff. So it's pretty easy for the Tiny to buy. He's got a lot of gold to spare, and it allows him to keep spamming out his spells, so he can just keep up this early game aggression because they have so much momentum. It's a very snowbally item, actually.
Yeah, snowbally. I like it. But here they go. Unknown goes right back into the Root Gaming territory, while Root kind of pushing out this top lane a bit. Monkeys Forever looking to finish off that Yasha here, his first real serious damage item. But he is quite a bit away as you look at the net worth. All top 3 belonging to Unknown, with your Queen of Pain sporting 11k, 10k for Kotaro, and of course Ishino at about 9k here. Then finally you see both TC and Monkeys Forever. So when you look at the numbers on paper there, that's a whole luxury item of a difference between them and the carries on the other side. So they better hope that whatever residual leftover rubber band factor there could be in Dota is going to work out for them in this front. And for Team Unknown, staying assertive, keeping the pressure onto Root, looking to finish out this game with a win so they can secure a Game 3 in this series seems to be the utmost importance. Kotaro already knocking away on this Tier 2. Sidesteps the raise, moves in for TC. Will he get the toss back here? Nope, just goes straight up, goes right for the Quap, who happened to blink in at that moment. TC walks away, pops his mech, but not going to make it to safety. That Sonic Wave comes in from Takane, and they're going to be able to get the kill. Earthshaker also able to bring down Moo, 2 drop from the side of Root Gaming here. Unknown taking over. 25, what a toss out from Kotaro Hayama. Able to just hop right into the base, throw the jug out, hide to the glimmer. They move in, Echo Slam pop. 4 go down all day. Now they move for fun. They're going for the team wipe. He's able to get the grave off, but it looks like the wipes are coming after they clean out fun. Ends up being a 1-for-5 trade here. Team Unknown emphatically looking to take game number 2 and stretch this series all the way to its full 3-game completion.
Yeah, they're just doing really good right now. I mean, they've been able to protect their advantage in a very legitimate way with the items like Glimmer Capes and Force Staff. They can avoid death, they can protect their lead while being as aggressive as they were. I mean, nearly under the Tier 4 towers, getting those tossbacks. It's really good play from the Tiny there and just allows them to isolate that Juggernaut before he can get an Omni Slash off. Like, that's exactly how they need to play this. And yeah, we see some shenanigans, some BM Midases coming out because, yeah, they have that much gold to work with.
Oh, relocate behind. They look to get Quap. They get her. Well, it's just one little Quap, and it costs them a relocate. It costs them an Omni Slash. But Root Gaming not looking to fold quite yet. As far as base damage goes, their bottom racks now exposed as they lose a Tier 3, but no racks down yet. Root Gaming look to fight on here, but the net worth shows 20k of an advantage right now for Team Unknown, aka MYM at this point. XP about the same, but TC would call out. Maybe he's able to get the BKB together. It could be a world of a difference. He's got 2 of the 3 components. Still needs some time to farm up for that recipe. And that precious Agnum's on the other side for Kotaro. Now in hand, he's got the Whomping Willow, and he is ready to play.
Yeah. I actually think the Midas buying and selling from the Queen of Pain actually cost her a bit of gold there because she lost 480 from that fight when she was boasting almost entirely reliable gold. So I think the buying and selling actually turned some of that reliable gold into unreliable, and that punishes them a little bit for joking around. I'm pretty sure they feel that this game is in the bag, but they've got to keep their heads on straight because obviously we've seen what Root can do at a disadvantage with the right draft.
Could be a big throw otherwise, and this game will be highlighted not the way they'd like, but here they go. Wall vacuum on for Monkeys. Monkeys goes right back in the corner. Fun gets spotted, gets stunned, gets just knocked in the noggin, and he goes down. Godlike now for Kotaro. And the Dazzle and Fluff and Wisp will be taken apart. Here comes Unknown, charging down this bottom lane.
And top Moo is going to be taking a lot of damage here. All of his mana was drained away. Axel just playing with his food at this point. Z-Talk gets a 4th stun on him here, and they're forcing him into a position where he can just be struck down by the Earth Spike and the Finger very, very quickly. But out of mana a little bit, the Ice Shards kills the Lion, and Moo is still alive with 29 HP. Z-Talk has to go to the trees for the Aftershock kill. Meanwhile, down bottom, the real fight is breaking out.
They get a toss back onto TC. He's put in a bad spot, and they get him down. Just as Fluff looks to show up and try to help him out, it's too late. TC hits the deck. A buyback will be used from Moo. They're looking to go for Fluff. There's the snowball in for Takane, but not going to be enough. They're looking to kind of save Tiny for last if possible. They put their attention down to Ishino. Can't get him. He steps back. Kotaro eats a full Omni Slash. He will get chopped on down. He is out. And Root continue to hold here. No new base damage really comes through. A little bit of damage on each Rex, bring him down to half. And they're going to get Z-Talk as well. Moo gets his revenge. Does cost them the buyback. Ends up being a 2-for-2 trade, counting that buyback. But we don't really get more from Unknown because of that whole skirmish right there. It's not like they get more done in that bottom lane. They just kind of take a little and hand a little bit back.
Yeah. If they're not objective focused, they're going to be throwing away a pretty significant lead. Right now, the net worth is stabilizing and in a couple of places jumping back towards Root's end. So they're not fully concerned about like this big comeback from Root right now, but if they repeat this 2 or 3 more times without taking at least 1 lane of racks, if not 2, then Root still have endgame in sights. They still have some really good potential. Obviously, I mentioned with the BKB SF, and then later on when the Juggernaut can really start doing some real damage in the fights. Mantis Hal's already up for him, and he's going to be looking to crit really hard when he connects with his ultimate.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the numbers and you think one thing as far as 20k net worth advantage, but I'm not 20k advantage sold yet, Blaze. It does not feel like that so far, and I don't think Root feel like that either. They're definitely still looking to defend here and stay calm. It's definitely a much tougher task than it was at the storm they had to weather in the early game of game number 1. But here they are, and they're showing it. They smoke up between the 3 and migrate out this mid lane. They could catch Kotaro here. It's going to pop. Do they have the way to jump the gap and get him? They don't. So it's just going to be unfortunate. Tiny smoke there. Kotaro looking to make a jump potentially on the TC here. The rest of his team pushing down the bottom side. Finally looking to get more objective base and finish out what they started in the bottom racks. Moo already leading out with the Ice Shards, trying to keep them back and blocked. But now it's the high ground defense from Root to try to hold here. They lose a big fight here without now buybacks. It's going to be scary. They could lose 2 racks and drop a hat. Oh, Fun gets caught. He gets tossed right back.
Echo!
Echo jump in. They go right for TC. He gets the Glimmer save, but he might be in trouble. Gets off the race, going for the Requiem, and what a force. Kotaro steps right away from that Requiem. Takane moves in and jumps right back out in the back of the BKB. A buyback for Monkeys. He goes right back into action. His Omni Slash already expended. A stun on the return.
Oh.
They're still holding out here, but that wall, man. Look at the Shadow Fiend illusion. Still moves in, still dishes out the right click. They're going to have to deal with that. Now Kotaro gets to go onto the base, but the glyph will be used. There goes. Nice 3-man vacuum into a fixture, into a Sonic Wave. Team Unknown continue to punish Root Gaming here on their last potential hold. Moo moves back in after the Glimmer, gets the Walrus Punch, gets the shards, gets the kill. Queen of Pain will end up going down. They finally finish off the 1 racks. Kotaro hops to the other side, gets a toss off, but that Shallow Grave will save the move for now. He snowballs in, gets the finish connection onto Lion here. Kotaro moves back into the action here, sees Moo low, instead moves for Fun, gets tossed up, gets batted down. He is out for good. Z-Talk could drop to the tower, will go down to the tower. It's being a 4-for-4 trade. I guess 5-for-4 if you count the buyback from Monkeys. Monkeys to Kotaro, the last 2 standing. Monkeys is considering moving in. Both these cores just kind of eyeballing each other at this point, but Blaze, Team Unknown, finally managed to scrap down both racks. Kotaro. Uh-oh. Quick stun, quick toss. Good damage, but not good enough. Kotaro should go down here, and will go down.
And that's a huge kill. Like, I mean, none of them had the buyback gold penalty, so they both got a huge profit out of that. Suddenly a 4-staff is up for a Wisp. Suddenly Monkeys Forever is making 1,600. Out of that fight, Tusk got so much gold, and you could actually see what he was going for there. When the Sonic Wave and the Fisher came out, he was actually trying to snowball the entire team. I think he got one other buddy in with him, but just couldn't pull them into his armored car fast enough. So they plow through, and Moo does some really good work there on the Tusk, but in the end, they still, like you said, lose the rack. So while I would say that Unknown are not happy with how many lives they fed away, they still have a pretty good foothold now that they have at least one of the lanes down.
Yeah, and that of course means that Root Gaming might be forced to be more spread apart than they would like, with having someone kind of always putting at attention that bottom lane to keep it back. Right now it's actually pushed pretty far out, so it does give Root Gaming a bit of room to work with here. If they can find an opportunity to take a big fight, this could put them back into this game. What I like to call what could be step number 1 of a 3-step process. I'm giving this one 3 steps, Blaze. Sometimes it's 5, sometimes it's 8. I don't think Root Gaming are as far out of this one quite yet. So with that, you have Monkeys scouting out into his Root mid lane. They should be able to eyeball Ishino here, but they don't know what's waiting behind them because everyone's back up and at the ready, and you already see Unknown go right back into the Roche pit now, and they go to work.
Yeah. I'd like to say it's a 3-step process, but honestly it feels like a lot worse for me, because the big deal here is the initiation is still there for Unknown. As long as they keep enough focus to land one good wombo combo, you've got the easiest setup in the world with the Vacuum Echo Slam. We've seen the wall do tremendous work this game. Kotaro Hayama is going to get caught here by that nice damage from Weave, as well as the Omni Slash, but they can't finish him off. Kotaro will be caught inside the Glimmer Cave.
He's sitting there. He's waiting for an opportunity to kind of get out. Finally, the Ice Shorts drops. He forces away from trouble. They get the Darkseer down. It's going to cost them their fluff. Monkeys Forever won a nice grave to keep him alive. Looks to heal up. Jumping from Z-Talk. Gets a 2-man Echo, including Fun and TC. They finish off Fun. Queen of Pain's going to get dropped, so that's the Aegis already going to be expended. TC's going to get stumped up. Brilliant lockdown coming out from Excel. They're going to get that one on the other side. Kotaro not going to get dropped. He's able to get the toss. He lives. They only lose their Darkseer. A big fight for Team Unknown. And you are right. That 3 steps has quickly jumped up to about 20 steps because here comes Unknown to the mid lane and their eyes on their second set of racks.
Yeah, and this is just going to be them taking down easily the mid lane and probably forcing out the last hurrah of Root. I mean, they need to hold this. They know how low Kotaro is, but he's got the Blink the Force. He has no problem engaging and disengaging at a whim, and yeah, they can't actually punish this battering ram. So the GG does come out, and we are going to Game 3 for this quarterfinal.
Game 3, hype here in this quarterfinal action of Root Gaming going against Team Unknown. And it almost did feel like it wasn't Team Unknown. A whole new team. Maybe Team MyM. Who knows? But they definitely have turned things around for themselves. That was a game where they felt like they were punishing Root from top to bottom. Unlike in Game 1 where it kind of let it slip a little bit, and Root Gaming were able to kind of bring themselves back. Not this time. They were just in full control. Takane and Kotaro, man, they were just the Bash Brothers in that one. It's really hard to point out a single, MVP. Even Ishno, that Darkseer, in his offlane laning phase, he got so much going for him. Every time I happened to gander down, Monkeys Forever was just barely walking away, weak and wounded. And they just continued to get punished.